I don't know how many times people like me have to say it, how many times it has to be said, but I'm hoping that this is going to wake people up to the fact that the whole left versus right, Republican versus Democrat, liberal versus conservative thing is a game set up for foolish people. Luckily, and the reason I'm even making this video now is because I stopped making a lot of these because people don't see them, people don't listen, nobody does anything. But luckily, I'm starting to see a lot of people, even popular people like that horror Candace Owens. I'm starting to see more and more of them say the same thing. And a lot of people like Candace Owens can't avoid it because the masses are starting to say it. So she has to jump on board to make sure she keeps the money train going for herself, keep herself relevant. But because someone with her way of thinking would have known this a long time ago. So, but yeah, a lot of people are starting to parrot that narrative that the left versus right thing is a joke and a game, and hopefully more and more people catch on.
This is not left or right. I don't care. Do stop trying to make this a trans issue or right. That whole debate, it's low, guys. I'm telling you that is not where we need to be right now as a society. We are fighting evil people who rule over us and impact both sides. Okay, that's the wake up call. To this podcast right now to wake up, because I am telling you, this is not a battle between left and right. We all thought that at some point. We believed that you're my enemy, you're my enemy. It is not a battle between Russia, Ukraine. I don't care what your political issue of the day is. What is happening right now in the world and what just happened to my friend Charlie Kirk is a battle of sheer evil versus goodness.
White versus black. It's not a race war. It's not a race debate. It's not Republican versus Democrat. It's truly about mega rich people versus everybody else. At the end of the day, billionaires and millionaires are the problem.
The left versus right thing, voting, politics, all of that stuff is a distraction. Not a distraction, is a tool built by wealthy men and wealthy women to fool the masses and to make the masses think that your life may not be as great as it should be, but guess what? You have access to this thing that we made for you, and you can use that thing in order to get some sort of change. So this political system is your power. So you do have power. You do have the ability to get some change, and you have a voice and you have a choice. Now, obviously, that's a lie, but that was built to placate. I wanted to say to confuse, but yeah, confuse as well, but really to placate the masses so that when the masses realize, all throughout the history of this country, you've had many, many, many moments where the masses have realized this shit is a joke and a game, and the wealthy are just fucking with us and we got to fight back. And so the wealthy have always come up with little ways to kind of distract people and to make them look in another direction. And politics is one. The other big one, of course, is the racial divide. They've always realized they can use black people as a distraction tactic, and I'm going to go into that a little bit later. But the politics game is one of the biggest things that they have made to fool people, and it's worked for a long time. People vote. Just people that are saying the left versus right thing is a joke. They will vote the next time. I promise you. I promise you, they will be at the booths during election season. Trust me. This thing that has been created works so well that even though people recognize and realize that it's a trap or that it's a joke, they're still going to flock towards that option because most people just don't think that there is any other option. And anyone here that's interested, I'm going to go into my solution later, just in case there are any new people watching this. Sorry to any of my older viewers who have been here and keep hearing me make this message, but you know why I keep doing it. Any new people here, I will give my solution in a little bit. So if you're interested in solutions and not just rhetoric and commentary, then either fast forward to the timestamp that I'll put here, or just sit and listen. So this whole politics thing is a game. Luckily, people are starting to realize that. But this whole Charlie Kirk thing is just, I kind of think of myself as someone that, given enough time, I can kind of figure out certain moves. I can't figure out what move is happening now. I don't get it. The way that they are, everybody is just, I don't get what's going on. They're just celebrating this man. Most people don't know who this guy is. I barely knew who he was. I knew a little bit about him, but I didn't. The way they're acting, the way they're treating this, it's like he was a fucking former president or some shit, or some sort of well-known politician. He's not a well-known politician. He's not even a lesser-known politician. I can't think of that word that I wanted to say, but he isn't relevant in any way. This guy goes around and has talks with kids in schools, and they're not even talks. He just sits down and has debates with people to try to, it seems like, embarrass people. This guy's whole career was just weird, and they're treating him as if, again, he's like an ex-president. I mean, these people got murals up of him, and I barely knew who this guy was. This guy literally did nothing of substance for anybody other than a handful of wealthy people that, in my mind, he more than likely was probably having sex with. Something in my mind, in all honesty, and I'm not saying this to be disparaging or even to make a joke, but I always view these types of young males who are kind of really act passionate about nothing, nonsense, this guy goes around saying stupidity, Trayvon Martin stalked George Zimmerman. I mean, just saying things that are just clearly just stupidity. And they're really passionate about something that they know is a fucking lie. And then I look into their background and I see that there's a lot of older, wealthy men supporting him financially. In my mind, I believe, I'm not saying this is the reality because I don't know, but in my mind, I believe guys like him, they have sex with these older men. These older men find these guys and, they let them, do things to them. And so they'll select them as one of their spokesmen for whatever thing that they've created. And they pay him a substantially large amount of money. And the guy, his job is to go out and pretend to that he believes in this, whatever narrative they're pushing, whether it's a left narrative or a right narrative. They pretend to believe it. And they push it because they're getting paid to. That's their job. They're an actor. Just like our politicians are actors. So this guy, who I believe was having intercourse with old rich men, he didn't do anything of any substance, other than just having these stupid talks. And they're treating it as if, oh my God, this guy he was a general in a war that he, where he led the soldiers to victory or something of significance or importance. So I don't even know what's going on, but watching it, knowing who this guy is and watching the Democrats all jump on board and say, you know what, this guy, and pretend that this was a great patriot, a great man. And literally, if you really believe that, then you obviously have some sort of mental issue. Most people don't believe that. A lot of the ones that, some of them have mental problems or they're just really dumb. But most of them, they just push that because they associate themselves with that racist rhetoric. So they just want to lie and prop this guy up because they're racist, and racists are stupid and irrational and jealous. Jealousy makes people irrational. But the Democrats out here pretending that, this guy, he was a great person and he had children, and who cares? There's plenty of convicts and criminals that got children and wives. We don't consider them great people. You're not a great person because you fucked somebody and got them pregnant multiple times. That doesn't make you a great person just because he was a father. There's plenty of fathers out there. There's plenty of fathers who get murdered by police and nobody cares. They don't say, oh, he was a father and a husband. No, they don't say this. Oh, well, he was a bad person. So, and bad person doesn't mean he killed anybody. Bad person means, I don't know, he stole some money. He stole $100 and ran from the cops, and the cops shot him. And they automatically, well, He did run from the police, so he's a bad person. Even if he didn't steal, if you you find out he's unarmed and the cops killed him by mistake, nobody comes out and says he was a father and a husband, and so we need to honor him and pass resolutions condemning what happened to him. Nobody pushes that. So why are we doing it all of a sudden? Why are the Democrats pushing this guy? This guy didn't like the Democrats. He didn't like the left. He was a horrible racist and a bigot. His life was spent trying to sow division in the country so that citizens can't come together and make the country what it should be. So why would they honor him? Why would they fight so hard? Some of the Democrats didn't go along with it, but those Democrats, again, this is all theater. So people pay attention. People like Alexandria Cortez, who was out there saying, well, I don't want to honor him. I'm sure she didn't want to honor him. None of them probably did. But, it was her job to pretend to oppose them so that it didn't look unanimously crazy. Like everybody's just, no, they needed to show, well, some people will pay. We want you. She was told by her bosses, we want you to push back against it. That's why she did that. This is all like an act. Wasting your time with this voting thing. I'm not talking about the Republicans because people like me don't even pay attention to the Republicans. The people I'm talking to tend to pay attention to Democrats. That's the only reason why I always go over Democrats. We already know the Republicans are a joke, but the ones that people like me or come from my circles tend to think, well, the Republicans are a joke, but the Democrats are the option we should go for. We should look at them. No, they're just as much of a joke as the Republicans are. And you see it here. These people go against everything that they say they believe and fight to honor an ass clown, dick sucking loser. So no, the side that you're saying, this guy literally hated black people. And then the political side that people say black people should support is honoring the racist who hates black people. And then fighting, dude, this shit, they introduced this shit on September 16th. It passed the same day. The same day. The same day. Black people say we need some sort of protections from police. And so we're reaching out to the people that we voted and put in office to protect us. Can you help us? And they're like, no, we don't have time. We don't think it can be done. Sorry, nothing can be done. Well, clearly things can be done. If you can introduce something and pass it the same day, how come y'all should be introducing something every day? If you genuinely believe that black people have been aggrieved and you want to help us, well, the things we ask for, you should be introducing things every single day and see it. And if they don't get passed, then you come back to us and tell us, look, this is why it's not getting passed. Here's the proof. We introduced it and we have this person, this person, this person, this person, and this person all fighting against it. And we didn't get it. We weren't able to get it passed. These are the people that are keeping us from getting it passed. Great. Now we know what to do. Now we can go into those areas and have that person voted out. It's very easy. And we'll go into these other states and we'll find out, we'll know the names of the people and we'll work in the next election cycle to put someone in that wants to help us. But we don't have that kind of information because the Democrats don't push stuff because they're not interested in pushing stuff because they don't want to help us. So they're not going to push stuff for us or introduce things for us or vote on things for us because they would. Look how easy it is. We want to honor a bigot. All right, introduce it and we'll all vote on it and agree in the same day. What about a livable wage? We all agree that we need a livable wage. Can we introduce that? Oh no, that's we can't even introduce it because that's too much. We're probably not going to get it passed. Well, you can try. Can you try? No, I don't think that's going to work. And you know why? Because my wealthy boss told me not to even talk about that, not to even really try to not introduce that because we don't want to put it in people's minds that the government can be used to help them, to really help them. So this whole thing is a joke and the whole thing is a game. To black people out there watching this, I've told you before in my other purge videos, and I keep making these, and I don't make talk about a purge because I want it to happen. Obviously, I don't want this to happen. I hope it doesn't. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope that I'm wrong. But I'm telling you, I caught wind of this a couple years ago, and Everything that I thought was going, or the little things that I thought were going to escalate, have been escalating. I've been telling you guys that they're looking for ways to demonize black people in the eyes of white America. And it's because many people within white America, they don't care. You could lie to them and tell them that, black people, created pink elephants, and the pink elephants, once the elephants reach maturity, they drop the elephants into the drinking water of white society, and that the sludge from the pink elephants is causing a lot of the cancers that white people are having. And white people say, yep, that's right, it's black people. It could be the most outrageous shit, the dumbest, most outrageous thing, and white people will say, yep, I believe it. Because there's a lot of white people that they literally just want to attack us. Racism stems from jealousy. And jealousy makes people irrational. That's why they become racists. Most white people have no reason to maybe dislike us, but not to hate us to the point where they want us exterminated. That's like irrational. Black people aren't out there harming white people like that. We don't create systems to destroy white life and white existence and white families and white infrastructure and white culture. We're not the ones doing that. We don't make the movies and the television shows that white people think are destroying their culture, and they know that. They know all of that. We're not doing any of that, but still they just want there to be a race war just so they have the opportunity to take out their guns and attack us. There's no sense talking about it, trying to reason with them, rationalize with them. There is either a conscious or subconscious jealousy there that these people have, and it causes them to be irrational, and they don't like us, and they hate us for no reason. Do you know what it takes for an adult man to want to hang a black child? Can you just wrap your head around that? Think of it as an adult. You're an adult person, talking to everybody listening. Have you ever wanted to just murder some child that hasn't done anything to you? Like the child maybe was walking by and their pants was too baggy, or they wore a shirt that you didn't like. Did you want to murder them? Of course not. That's insanity. But you have a lot of these people that they literally look for opportunities to murder children that are black. And it's not because they want to murder children, but they want to murder black people. And they know black children tend to be an easier target. But that thought is in their head. They'll come across some black kid listening to music they don't like, and the first thought is hanging, murder. That's like the fucking demonic thoughts. It's because the racism has caused them to be so irrational. They can't even, I don't even think they can control that shit. It's just they watch TV. You have a lot of these people that watch pornography, and they watch black men perform, and they watch it and they pleasure themselves to it. But after they finish, they feel like this shame, and the shame leads to anger and also jealousy at the way the black man performed, and they internalize that. Or they'll watch sports and they watch these black men dominate, or they watch black women like Serena Williams just dominating everybody, and there's like a little bit of jealousy there that, oh well, why the movies all show people that look like me as being the greatest thing on the planet, but that's fictional. In reality, well, there's a lot of other great people of other races, and you know what? A lot of them tend to be black. and they watch that, and they internalize that, and they become angry, violently angry. They go out there and they watch black women walking by in the clothes, the tight clothes that they're walking in, and realize, wow, look at these women's bodies. No other woman on the planet has bodies like this. And these women, they don't really like me, so I can't have them. I hate black people. They internalize a lot of this stuff, a lot of this jealousy and shame for thoughts that they have or desires that they have. And it kind of like, it just turns into this black cloud inside of them. And that leads to them being irrational, and it leads to racism. You're not going to get rid of it. It's not going away. The only thing that will stop racism in the hearts of a lot of these white people is if we disappeared. And that's not going to happen. So the racism isn't going nowhere. It's not going to go nowhere. It doesn't matter how many Dr. Kings come out or Fred Hamptons who work to try to make life better for everyone and try to show people the injustice that's happening to us and try to show people who we are and how good we are. None of that matters. They don't care about that. It's not going to change nothing. So this stuff is not going to go anywhere. And you shouldn't be wasting your time with this whole voting system, because the voting system was put in place by a lot of the people that I just described. And a lot of the people that are on that side, a lot of the liberals, it's not just Republicans and conservatives and people on the right that go through what I just described. It's a lot of white people. It's not all white people. I've met many white males who look at me and know that they are superior, not because they're white, but just whatever, they're better looking or they're taller or they have more. I don't mean superior human being. I just mean they have a superior position in life. Women like them because they're handsome, they're tall, maybe they come from money or they've built themselves up somehow and they have money. And they don't look at me as a threat. They just look at me as some other guy because in their heart, they know, I'm not a pushover. I'm a big deal myself. And they don't care about that. Same thing with, there's a lot of white women who know I'm beautiful and men like me. And don't look at that black woman over there with that huge behind, those nice hips. Our body looks nice. Mine don't look like that, but heck, I get the attention that I need. And I have the things that I need. I take care of them. They know they have that own confidence. There's plenty of white people out there that don't hate black people, or plenty of white people out there who don't like or dislike black people. They just think of black people as, that's my neighbor, or that's my coworker, or that's that guy, that person I always see in the supermarket. They just think of you as a human. There's plenty of those out there. But then you have a lot, and based on what I see on the internet, it's a lot who do look at you and they're jealous and they hate you as a result. There's a lot of them on both sides. It doesn't matter the political party. So you're voting Democrat. A lot of the irrational, jealous ones, they're in the politicians or they're the voters. So you're voting to push this side that you think is liberal and they care about me. No, dude, no. No, they don't. New York is a liberal state. I'm from New York. Plenty of European immigrants who are now just considered part of white society who hate black people. Hate black people. Plenty of Italians, plenty of Irish who hate black people. Plenty of people of Hispanic descent who literally hate black people. They vote Democrat and they live in a blue state, but they don't like you and they don't like me. And you're sitting there voting, wasting your time on this. So and that happens because propaganda is being pushed to demonize us. That's why I keep talking about this purge thing, because I knew it was going to go down this path and I knew it based on certain things that happened. If you're curious, there's other purge videos I made that explain my initial thoughts about this. But to the ones that have already been listening, that the purge that I've been talking about, it's getting closer and closer. You're starting to see more and more where there's people are looking for ways to demonize black people. This Charlie Kirk guy got shot, and immediately white people were like, we got to go after the blacks. We had literally nothing to do with this. And they knew that. They know that there ain't no fucking black snipers walking around, military trained black snipers. We don't spend our time teaching our children to murder people. We don't. As violent as they say we are in their propaganda, we don't do that. We as black families and black parents, we don't spend our time teaching our sons how to kill things. You see that beautiful, majestic creature out there running through the forest with those beautiful horns and the power, and you see all that power and beauty in that animal. Yeah, shoot it in the neck. We don't do that. We're not that type of people. If we don't need to kill to eat, we're not gonna just be murdering things just for the heck of it, just for fun. I just like doing it because it's in my culture. That's not us. We don't teach our children to kill. We definitely don't teach our children how to kill with sniper rifles, and white people know that. So when a sniper is often this guy in a predominantly white state, at a predominantly white school, and they automatically say, it's blacks. Let's go to the black colleges. That's because they're looking. The masses who aren't pushing the idea of a purge, who don't think of a purge, they want to, and the people that I believe are trying to push, who will eventually try to push the idea of a purge. They want us to be, to look to be demonized. They're looking to demonize us. You keep seeing it in all these different things. Some crazy guy with mental problems kills a woman on a train. It's all over the news. Murders happen every day. They're acting like there was only one murder for the whole year, and it was this crazy black guy. No, there's murders all the time. There was a white man who was stalking his ex-girlfriend. The ex-girlfriend called the cops, and the guy murdered the cops.
The York County, Pennsylvania community is mourning 3 police officers who were killed in a shooting yesterday, as well as 2 others who were wounded. The names of those fallen officers were released today. They are Detective Sergeant Cody Becker, Detective Mark Baker, and Detective Isaiah Emenheiser. One of the injured officers was upgraded to satisfactory condition this afternoon, while the other remains in critical but stable condition. The 24-year-old gunman died after being shot by police. And in an update today, officials say he was suspected of stalking and was hiding with a rifle in his ex-girlfriend's home when he ambushed those officers.
Killed 3 cops, some white guy, on an assault rifle. Murdered 3 cops, injured 2 others. That's a lot of that stuff happens all the time. There's crimes that happen in the world. It's crimes. That's why we have a justice system. That's why we have cops. That's why we have prisons. Crimes happen. But this black guy killing this white woman, we got to put that all over the news. We got to talk about it. We got to plaster it all over the place so that people see it, because they're trying to make us look like the villains. And they've done that all throughout our history here, because wealthy men and women realize, well, we can use this as a divide and conquer tactic. We can make the white people, who we know outnumber us and outnumber everybody here, and who have access to weapons and who like to kill. We know that if push comes to shove, or if it gets too bad, they'll come after us. And we can't have that. So let's give them another target to focus on. They've always done that. And they're in the process of doing that now, because the country is imploding upon itself. The politicians are just doing all sorts of illegal, unethical things, making fucking stock trades on the fucking floor, on the Senate floor, while they're in the middle of pushing bills, insider trading, and doing all sorts of unethical things that is destroying and eroding the country, and it's hurting everybody. So much stuff is happening at the top. Wealthy people are doing all kinds of things to enrich themselves at our expense, and people are catching on to it and understanding it. And people like the guy that, what was it, United Healthcare CEO getting knocked off in the streets. This stuff is happening where people are starting to look at the real problem, finally, which is the wealthy. And the wealthy can't have that. So they use us as a distraction. And it's now getting so bad that I believe, and I've said this years ago, that they're eventually going to try to engineer some sort of purge. Meaning, what I mean by purge is that they're going to try to set it up so that white people and other races who aren't black, other non-blacks, look at us like we're the problem, so they start to come after us. And when that happens, the government is going to ignore it. So they won't push it and say, hey, go do this. I don't think it'll be like the movies. But what I think will happen is they're going to demonize us so much that white people are going to start getting upset. And just like what you saw with this Charlie Kirk thing, where he got murdered, and then they said, well, we're going to go to HBCUs. And they were starting to threaten us. We didn't do anything, but they were starting to threaten us. Things like that are going to escalate, where it'll stop being threats, and they'll just start targeting us. And you'll start seeing things happening to you and to people that look like you. And the government will ignore it. They won't say go and do this, but once it starts happening, they'll ignore it. And when they start ignoring it, it'll give a green light to other people that want to do it. And it'll start to happen more and more. Once people start to realize, this guy's hasn't been arrested, or the cops are lying and saying they didn't see a crime, which is already happening. Black people are being found hanged, and the cops are saying, he did it to himself. There's black kids are just hanging themselves. They're the only people hanging themselves in the trees in the country. No other group of people is hanging themselves in the trees, but for some reason there's this trend where black young people are hanging themselves in trees, and they're doing it themselves. And they're just saying, no crime here. And that stuff is going to start to escalate. And once people start to see, well, I'm not being punished or harmed, they're going to start to go after us more and more. And then once that happens, obviously black people are going to fight back, and then there will be turned into this battle. But since we're outnumbered, that's why I call it a purge, we will be harmed the most because we're not going to be able to really fight back successfully because we're outnumbered. And that conflict will be used to distract people from the wealthy and whatever the wealthy are doing or whatever they got planned. So black people, pay attention. People in general, stop this whole left versus right thing, because all of us, not just black people, but all of us have been targeted by wealthy people, and it's only going to get worse. So here we go. Here's the solution. The solution is, if the wealthy people are controlling all of this, and the wealthy people are bribing and they pay our politicians, which means they control everything that happens to us here. If they have all that control, then you have to fight the wealthy, not each other and not the politicians. You have to fight the wealthy. And the only legal, safe way to fight the wealthy is to take away their money. That's the only way. And you take away their money by not shopping in their stores, by shutting down this economy. Most of the wealthy people here maintain their wealth by having these stores that people shop in, or they invest in stores, they invest in companies, they make their money on the gamble in the stock market. So when you go into these stores and you pump money into these conglomerates, that money is used to help enrich other wealthy people. So let's say you go into Walmart. You're not just enriching Walmart, you're enriching other people that invest and they speculate on Walmart. You can make easy money. I can make, even in today's market, as bad as it is, I can make at least 10% return selling options. There are so many different ways to make money in the stock market. And these people I can make 10% myself. Somebody had to teach himself. I didn't go to no school. Well, I mean, I did go to school in my 20s, but I didn't pass. And I didn't really learn much. That was a long time ago. But I didn't go to any real school or get any real education. I figured it out on my own. And if I can do that, and with like a little bit of capital, that means these people who have access to hundreds of thousands of dollars to just throw away, you can make bank every day, every week on speculations and all these different ways to trade in these different markets. And the markets run because we pump money into the economy. The only way to shut that down or to slow it down or to destabilize it so much that these people can't make money is all of us have to stop shopping, or at least a lot of us. The solution to all this is most of us have to pull our money and stop shopping in these big chain stores. I don't mean that you don't shop ever again. I mean change your lifestyle. If you have to do grocery shopping, do not go to a big supermarket. And what I mean by a big supermarket is a big chain store, like a Stop and Shop or a ShopRite or a Kroger or a Food Lion. I say this so many times, guys, that I'm starting to get annoyed saying it myself. But in the big supermarket chain store, Walmart, the Super Targets, don't go into those stores to buy your groceries. You go into a local mom and pop store. You go into a bodega. You go to a farmer's market. You go into an off-brand supermarket. A supermarket isn't a national chain. You don't go into the national chain stores. You avoid those. You need to buy some hardware stuff. Try your best not to go to Home Depot or Lowe's or the big hardware chain stores. You go to a local mom and pop hardware store. If you need to buy food, you're hungry and you want to get some food, don't go into a big national chain store. Go into a local pizzeria, something owned by just somebody that lives near you. Go into a local bakery, a local Mexican spot. Just a local Jamaican place, a local soul food place, a local Chinese food place. Go into the local stores. There's plenty of local restaurants you can go to. You don't have to go to the chain stores. There's no reason for people to go to Chick-fil-A anymore. You do not need to go there. You want a fucking chicken sandwich? Make the chicken sandwich yourself. Get some bread and some chicken breasts from the bodega. Fry that shit up, put it in the bread. You got yourself a chicken sandwich. You could do whatever you want. Make whatever kind of sauce you want. You want to put some bacon on there, some ham, make it a chicken cordon bleu. Easy, make it yourself. Or find a local store that makes chicken sandwiches. You can go to the pizzeria, then give you a chicken parm sandwich. Just tell them, don't put the Parmesan cheese or the sauce on it. Just give me the chicken and the bread and some cheese. There you go, you got a chicken sandwich. There's no reason to go into these chains restaurants. There's so many restaurants to go to. If you need to buy stuff from a pharmacy, don't go to a CVS or a Duane Reade or Walgreens or Rite Aid. There's plenty local pharmacies you can go to. If you can't find one, just Google it. You have options to so many resources. Google it, find a local pharmacy place, go to the pharmacy. Hell, don't even Google it. Use Ask Jeeves. Use something other than Google. You have to take away your time, take away your money. You have to take a lot of this stuff away from these big conglomerates. Stop using TikTok. Stop using those social media apps where these wealthy men and women are, that these wealthy men and women own, where they're able to track you and they're able to sell things to you and they're able to sell your information. You have to withdraw from this whole economic system. You can still go to work. You can still shop. You just change how you shop. You have to take your money away from the big chain stores. That's the only way to get the attention of the wealthy, is to take their money away, shake up the economy and shut it down. Once you do that, then these people will realize, shoot, these people, the masses have caught on. There's no way for us to punish them because you're not going to be out in the streets. So they can't call their cops and their military to come after you and punish you. You won't be doing anything illegal, so they can't punish you. So they can't create some scenario to punish you. I mean, if they do, that'll just be an attack against the country, and then people are going to revolt and really fight back. So they're not going to do that. They have no way to punish you if you stop shopping. The only thing that will happen is maybe some people will lose their jobs, but some things got to change. If you want to change, there's going to be a little bit of pain, but that's the only pain, is maybe some people will lose their jobs for a little bit if the wealthy let it come to that. What I think will happen is once the economy starts to fluctuate that way, then you'll have the politicians overnight. You'll start to see in the news that politicians are pushing a resolution to I don't know, give checks to people or something, whatever thing that they decide to do to help calm us down. That stuff will only happen once we start to shake things up. If we keep doing the same thing and the wealthy keep getting as much money as they need and we keep working for them and giving them our time and running their businesses for them, why do they need to change? Why would they stop doing the things that they're doing? Why would anything change? It's not going to change unless you force the change. And the only way you can force the change is by shaking up their money. You can't attack them. That's illegal. You'll go to jail. I don't even know what else there would be to do. What else could you can't talk to them because you have no way of getting in contact with them. You can't talk to them to ask and talk about it. It's illegal to attack them and to fight, so you can't do that. What else would you do? Vote? Well, we already established that's a game. That's not real. That's a joke. That's a tool for the stupid people. So you don't waste your time doing that. The solution is to pull your money. And I need people who are interested in this to start pushing that narrative. If you still have a presence online somewhere, like you have a social media account in one of these social media things, push that idea to people. Everybody has to do it, so that people will catch on. You see people started boycotting Hulu and Disney. That's because enough people started talking about it. And so everyone did it. So enough people start talking about this, then hopefully and everyone doesn't have to do this. It just has to be enough of us. If a third of the country does this, it will catch on. More people will do it. And once the wealthy start to see a trend with people, because they monitor what we say, once they hear us online talking about it and then they start to see us do it, they will then pick up the phone. They will call their employees, the Gavin Newsoms and the Mitch McConnells and the Nancy Pelosi's and the Ted Cruz's. They will call their employees and say, look, Ted, what we're going to need you to do is we came up with this bill that's going to, give a percentage of taxes back to the citizens. So we're going to start cutting checks to everybody for $5,000, and that'll happen every 6 months, something like that. And then they'll tell them, we're going to fax you or email you or deliver the proposal that we wrote. Go get it passed so that we can calm these people down. And then the next day you'll see Mitch McConnell or Gavin Newsom on the TV, and they're going to be like, we're pushing this bill to the new Give Back to America bill, where we're going to be working to make sure Americans have X amount of dollars sent back to them in the form of a stimulus check. And that'll happen overnight. It's things like that will happen. And if that money ain't enough, we keep the boycott going. I don't want them to placate us with checks. I'm just giving you an idea of how it will start to change, what you will see if we do this boycott. The goal of the boycott, though, is the government has to be changed. There's certain policies that we have to agree on and put in place, that we have to go to these people and say, look, anybody that is accepting money from lobbying firms has to be made illegal. Any politician that we find accepting money or getting employment with any of these big companies, once they get out of office, they go to federal prison. We have to put certain things in place. That's a future talk. The first thing, though, is to get enough people to get on board with the boycott. So you got to push that. You got to help people like me push the message. I don't ask people for money. You can look at all my old videos. I don't ask people for money. I don't ask people to share my videos. I don't ask people to like and subscribe. Just if you agree with what I'm saying, then just make video. You can make videos yourself. Just talk about it yourself. Spread the idea, spread the concept that if we stop shopping and we shut down this economy, then we can start to get some change for ourselves. Help me spread that, because for over 5 years now, I've been shadow banned, blocked, and punished for trying to push this message on every application. So I need help. If people care about getting some kind of change, then you got to do something. Get up and do something. Help me, and let's get this boycott going so that we can get some change. Stop shopping.